Hi folks, welcome to Crisco's Corner. Here are some pictures from Lake George, New York. I was there in the middle of June. It's a beautiful place. At first I'm going to show some video of the lake itself. Then after that, for those who want to watch the chess game that I played in at the New York State Open at Lake George, feel free to watch after the video. I thought you might like the video of the lake first, and then we'll go over the game I had in round one. I'm getting old, I'm getting rusty. But anyway, for those of you who want to see just the video of Lake George, that's first. And those who want to see the game as well that I played in round one, continue watching.
And don't play on or around the stairs. Parents, we ask that you please keep a close eye on your children. And kids, we're going to need your help too. Keep an eye on your parents for us. You never know what they'll do. Now, the Minnehaha is a smoke-free vessel. Smoking is prohibited aboard the boat, and that does include vaping. Also, we ask you to throw nothing into the lake. Lake George is our drinking water. The fact that there is a large fine for littering into Lake George, we ask you to please keep any garbage on board the vessel. As the head of the lake flows north from this point.
Whoops. Here's the gambling.
We're going to start our cruise on the eastern shore today. The eastern shore is made up of primarily residential homes, and there are a few commercial. The home was designed by famous American architect Stanford White, who also designed the original Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, Stanford White, he's the one that got killed.
Also designed several other Adirondack great camps.
He got killed by
It's a single-family home. It has two outdoor kitchens.
Elizabeth Nesbitt. She was the original supermodel.
Ricky Oscar.
It was Elizabeth Nesbitt's husband because Stanford White screwed around with her. So he took a pistol and he shot him. And then he's one of the few times that he got away with temporary insanity. So he stayed at
Boathouse Restaurant.
That's huge.
The lodges on the hill. All the lodges at Crest Haven. That's a timeshare community. We're going to say hello to the Boathouse Restaurant with our steam whistle. Watch your ears. Here we go.
Well, no, he used to be police commissioner in New York City. Yeah. And then he was lieutenant governor of New York. He also gave us our national park.
Heights, and this was his summer home.
Imagine that.
He later sold a home to local businessman Charles Wood. Charles Wood built and founded in 1955 Storytown, USA, which would become today's Six Flags Great Escape amusement park. In fact, if you visit Six Flags Great Escape and see the old little buildings in there and houses, jailhouses, and stores.
drawback I can see, of course you got to be rich to have one, but I'm sure that the specifications for any changes on your property got to be okay to like 18 boards probably. And
There was a guy that had a house in Skinner's Lake. It burned down, and we rebuilt bigger. And the town didn't like it, and they had it torn down.
The small island is called Tea Island. The gray buildings with the red roofs, that's the quarters at Lake George. It's a timeshare called the Everly. The Everly was built for Colonel Walter Price. Now, Colonel Price was not a military man. Colonel was an honorary title he was given. Colonel Price was a beer brewer from Albany. By the looks of his house, I'd say he brewed some pretty good beer.
yeah,
The Everly is the oldest of the Millionaire's Row mansions. It was just built after the Civil
get a back view a little bit. Sure, all right, go ahead. Yeah, we're starting to slow down a little.
I wonder what hotel that one over there is.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
These are all hotels. Yeah, it's raining.
No, I think it's a steam.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. It's raining.
Hi, folks. Welcome back. Those are my regular subscribers and viewers. I usually do politics and news and such. But originally, I was a channel that covered the game of chess. So I thought I'd throw in a game here and get away from politics and maybe news for a few hours because it gets kind of crazy. This is a game that I played recently in Lake George, New York. Those of you that are familiar with upstate New York, I live in Binghamton. It is in the Adirondack Mountains, northeast, right close to the Vermont border. It's a beautiful place. There's a chess tournament there. They haven't been played there in about 5 years. I haven't played a tournament game in a very long time, so I'm a little rusty. So let's check it out. Going to see a lot of mistakes, so try to be as nice as you can in the critique of all of this. I am white. My opponent is black. His name is John North. He's a good guy. He's a really good guy. So he's about 1421. I'm 1400. My rating's been taking a beating. So let's see how I do. I'm white. Mr. North is black. So we'll just go along. D4. Knight F6. Bishop. I'm going to pull a London. I usually do when I'm white because it's a lot easier to play. A lot of the moves are automatic. This is a move here that really surprised me a lot. The computer wants him to go G6 and fianchetto his dark-squared bishop. He goes C6. And I couldn't figure that one out for the life of me. So let's play on. C3 is normal for London. Queen C7 was very interesting. I don't know why he's putting himself into a pin, which is very unusual. As you can see here, this pawn can't move. So I said, okay, I want my usual. And G6, he's going to fianchetto his bishop. I go H3. I don't want his bishop coming out and pinning against my knight because I might want to put this bishop somewhere else. Bishop G7. I moved it there. I should have put it on this square here. D3. I do that sometimes, but then you get the pawn pushes and it gets a little messy. So I put on E2. He moved his knight. I castled, he castled. I developed my last minor piece, and he went E5. I figured as much. So here we are. What do you do here? Now, the computer has 4 moves off screen. I did the move that the computer it liked okay, but it liked bishop H2 the best, moving my bishop back to here. And I had thought about that, but I didn't want him to push. I really didn't. So I took, he took, and then I went bishop back. He went rook E8. Position is equal, according to the computer. What to do, what to do. Now, this is a move I looked at for a little bit. The time controls here are 40 moves in an hour and 20 minutes with a 30-second delay. The second time control, sudden death, is 30 minutes, 30-second delay as well. So I had some time, so I sat here and sat here. And, of course, the more you think about things, the worse it gets. I thought it was a decent move. The computer didn't like it at all. It's got a slight advantage for me off screen. I went knight C4, and immediately it's a small advantage for black. Now, I didn't see why. I've got 3 pieces hitting this pawn to make him do something. He's got 3 as well, but he's got to tie those pieces up guarding it. And he went knight D5. Interesting. Now he has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces guarding that pawn. So I said, okay, rook E1, queen E2. I chose queen E2. He moved his knight. Oh, excuse me. Queen C2. He went B5. I went knight here. And that's my idea, to try to get that knight into the D6 square. Queen to B6. Now, right now, because of his B5 move, he's not looking that great. He went queen B6. Now, the computer shows a lot of moves. I had the second best computer move, so I'm kind of proud of that. And that's A3. So let's move on. Rook F8. Now that one, it was a mystery to me. Why would he want to take his rook from the center of the board and put it back next to his king? Right now off screen, I've got about a 2-point advantage, which is a lot by move 15. So I went rook A to C1. Computer didn't like it, didn't hate it either, but he went bishop A6. And I looked at this and looked at this and looked at this. And I picked one of the top computer moves. And they're all pretty close, the top 4. I went C4. He played pawn takes. I played bishop takes. I want to, one, isolate his pawn here and here. And also, if he takes, queen takes, and this pawn here is loose. So let's see what happens. He backed off. Right now, it's about a little over a 2-point advantage for me. So I'm feeling pretty good at this point because I haven't played a tournament game in a long time. I am so rusty. And being older doesn't help either. Now, the computer likes rook on F to D1, which I should have done. Or just pull the bishop back to A2, because that's a really nice diagonal on his king. And, of course, I didn't do any of those things. I went knight to E4. I thought, I'm going to plant my knight here and try to cause some havoc. And the computer likes bishop A6 back again for him. Rook A to B8, and on and on. He went knight E7. I couldn't figure that one out. And now it's a 4-point advantage for me. That's more than a piece. Even the computer says off screen, white is clearly winning. Now, I think I'm doing well, but I don't think I'm winning at this point. So what to do, what to do? Rook after d1 is the logical move. Knight d6 as well. So I went knight d6. It's looking really good for me. That knight is a huge pain in his behind. He goes bishop a6. Now, I played bishop takes. Bishop. And the computer, it liked it okay, but the move it liked the most is knight to g5, which I probably should have played. It's got 1, 2, 3 hitting this pawn. Incredible. But I didn't do it, of course. I played bishop takes, queen takes. So now that bishop is attacking that pawn. So he had a bishop that wasn't really worth much, and I traded my good bishop for it. So I did the computer move. It was the obvious move, going to the open file with my other rook. There's only 2 open files, and both of my rooks command them. I'm threatening to win with knight takes x7. As you can see the arrow, because after knight takes pawn, rook takes knight, and I pick up a pawn and expose his king and isolate another pawn. So he has to react to it. So what does he do? What to do, what to do? He went rook a to b8. Now I'm thinking, what the heck? And I just didn't see this. I didn't see the next move. Knight takes f7. He can't take it. It's incredible to me why I didn't see it. Oh, well, that's the way it goes sometimes. So right now, the computer's got me an almost 6-point advantage. Because the knight at the end, if you play knight takes, rook takes knight. And basically the game is over. And I can't understand why I did this. You know, you go over your games later. This is the first round. It's on Friday night. So it's probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. I'm not a morning person, so I'm up usually late. So it's not being overly tired. My buddy and I, we arrived the day before to play in the tournament. And so we were rested up. Why I didn't see that, I don't know. So like a dumbass, I play queen c4, which takes my advantage from 6 to 2.5. I blew my entire advantage. And of course, he jumped right on it. Queen takes. I played knight takes to guard the b pawn. Rook. Knight takes. It's amazing to me. Not bishop takes. Because if bishop takes, knight takes, and not good. So let's go back here. Knight takes, bishop takes, rook takes, knight d5. I take his bishop, he takes his king. Now we have an endgame. 2.5 points up, closer to 3 now with the computer running off screen. I'm a pawn up, but his A and C pawns are isolated and vulnerable. All my pawns are connected, especially on the king side, and I'm a pawn up on top of that. And endgames are the best part of my game. Not that I'm a good player, but it's the best part of my game. So I figured, okay. And when you think you're doing really well and you've got them on your heels, is when you start missing stuff. Rook c1 for me. He went rook to guard it. I went knight e5, hitting the pawn again. He moved back knight e7. Now he has all his pieces tied up guarding the c pawn. This is where I should have started bringing my king into the game. Because when the queen's off the board and very few pieces, your king is actually a powerful piece. I've seen where people have said it's worth 4 points. A bishop and a knight are worth 3 each, and a rook's worth 5. So it's a powerful piece in the endgame. And I probably should have brought out my king sooner, but I didn't. I went b4, which is still fine. He went f6 and chased the knight. I went back to f3. He went king over. He's bringing his king in, and I decided just to plant my knight. Now he can't chase the knight off. So he goes f5, and I'm still not bringing my king, but rook c5 was a good move. It stops him from ever moving his c pawn. He went a6. I went rook a5. He went back to guard it. I went b5. Probably a bad move. In fact, I know it's a bad move. What I should have done is started action on the king's side. I'm a pawn up on that side. His rook is tied up, guarding the a6 pawn. You know, you just shake your head when you go over your games. You should have played g4. And after pawn takes, go f4, and I'm doing fine. I got an extra pawn on that side. So I've got to complicate matters even further. I went b5, which brings my, I'm still better, but not like I was. C takes, knight takes, knight c6 hitting the rook. I went back here. He moves his king over. He's going to try to bring his king over to help with that isolated pawn. The computer likes knight c7, me chasing the rook. But I went c3 and bring my knight around the other way. He went king d6. I went rook h4, chased the other pawn. He brought his rook over. Now, my rook is covering a lot of key squares. His rook is stuck. But it's about a little less than a 2-point advantage for me, which I'm really surprised. I'm up a pawn. I just got to make things complicated for yourself. I mean, I should have picked a knight. The knight takes the f7 pawn. Would have been the end of the game. But anyway, I went e4. Figured, let's trade some pawns. He went knight. Pawn takes. Knight takes. Put the rook back. He went the rook back. I checked. Now I'm going to start bringing my knight around to harass his g and h pawn. But I should have been bringing my king up. King c6. I hit the one pawn. He moves the rook. Now his rook is frozen. Is protecting the A and the H pawns. Now I decided to bring my king up. King b5. I just go to rook 4. Probably shouldn't have gone there. The computer likes me checking rook to b4 or rook to g4. And f4 is on there too. They're all close in score, so I don't feel too badly. He goes rook f7, hitting my knight. I move the knight. What to do? Get an active rook. He figures he's getting an active rook now. Maybe he can cause some chaos. I probably should have went g4 or check with a pawn. Because if I push this pawn check and king takes, I have knight here, discover check, and I win the rook. So we can't take it. But I went knight c3 instead. Now, notice he can't cross. He can't cross this barrier because the rook holding him back, which is kind of my whole idea. Rook a4, rook a7. Now I start pushing my pawns. He can't take it because the rook's guarding it. He went knight d6. Right now, it's barely 2-point advantage for me. I went check. I wanted to get that knight off the board. Now he has to trade. And now the end game is fairly simple. King d5, rook a4 to freeze his rook. King c5. Now I start bringing my king up. He brings his, and he just goes back and forth. There's nothing else he can do. King c5, king, a5, g4. King comes over. Rook goes here. I should have put the rook on the F file. You'll see later. A4. My thoughts are this. If he ends up winning my A pawn and he brings his A pawn down, I'll sacrifice my rook. I'll have 3 connected passed pawns because I'll get the G and H pawn with my king. His king is way on the other side of the board. I should be able to win against the rook, worst case scenario. So I go F4, and as the arrows indicate, just keep pushing until I get a queen. Rook d7. H5, pawn takes, king takes. I want to take with a king. because of the fact he keeps the pawns connected. He goes rook d3. Now he's after that. I go f5. He takes f6. Now, why didn't I go the rook to the f file? I think this still works too. He goes check. I move the king. He goes a3. And then he makes the critical error. Right now, at this point in the game, it's like a 6 or 7 point lead. A3. And here he makes the final blunder. It's an over 10 point lead. The game is won easily. He goes rookie. I go rook e2. And it's a question mark for me. I was ahead by almost 11 points. That is resignable. Resignable. I went rook e2. And guess what? With proper play, this game draws. But he missed it. He missed it. He should have went rook f3. And it would have been a lot harder for me. Because you think you're winning. Any move wins, right? Anything wins. Well, no. But he made the mistake of going king a4. And it's over. It's over. I went rook f2, and that's the end. So, there you have it, folks. Don't ever let your guard down, ever. It's just incredible to me, it is. Completely one game, and you start moving casually. Like you have all the time in the world. I'm winning. Even though I had 2 or 3 winning chances earlier and missed them all, there's another winning chance that I blew, and if he was a much stronger player, we probably would have drawn. So I figured, after many, many months of not playing in a tournament game under a lot of pressure with the clock running, I guess I did okay. And he was a good guy, too. We talked a little bit after. We had a lot of personal history. It was the same, him and I. And I've seen him in other chess tournaments before. This first time I ever sat down and really talked to him. Anyway, folks, there it is. My round 1 game for the New York State Open. Played at beautiful, beautiful Lake George, New York. It happens. Sucks getting old, guys. Chess players, it sucks getting old. Until the next time, God bless, goodbye, and good luck.